So I think we all agree that Amazon Aurora DSQL, so distributed SQL, I think it means, is one of the coolest services that was launched in the recent times at AWS. But I wanted to understand a bit more how the pricing works, and this is what we're looking into now. I wrote an article about that on our blog that you can check out the pricing guide. I have a small infographic here as well. I would say to have the TLDR at the beginning, it is pretty simple. We have a new unit called Distributed Processing Unit, DPU, which costs, for example, in US East 1, $8 per 1 million DPUs. And we pay per storage 33 cents per gigabyte per month. So this is pretty straightforward. It's 100% serverless, which is nice. We only pay for the storage on a monthly basis. And it's pretty similar to what DynamoDB did, right? Because in DynamoDB, we have WCOs and RCOs, so write and read units. And this is similar to what we have here with DPUs. But if you take a look further, it gets a bit more complicated, I would say. So first of all, I wanted to understand what a DPU actually is. So what I did naturally, I looked at the developer documentation. If you look on the pricing page, you get the overview I just showed you. So let's have a look over here in US East 1. We can see a DPU, $8 per 1 million units and 33 cents per gigabyte month for storage. Of course, we have a free tier, we have data transfer costs, backup costs, and so on. But what I actually wanted to understand is what is a DPU? And here it's a single normalized billing unit called distributed processing unit, okay? But we're still not sure what a DPU actually is. And if you look further, we can see that in the FAQs, we see one question which says, okay, I see 4 CloudWatch DPU usage metrics. Are these my billing rates? And they say kinda no and kinda yes, because they're not the official billing rates, I think, but these are the DPUs we are billed on. So if you look at the blog post of one of the great engineers at DSQL, we can see how it works, and he broke it down a bit. So this is the blog of Mark Bowers, not to be confused with Mark Brooker, who is also sharing a lot about DSQL, which confused me for a second. He shared on how much you actually spend on the service. And he shared that by showing you how to create a new cluster, insert a new table, and then how much that would cost for a month. And he also shared one script with you, which you can use to calculate that. We can now do this together because what I actually have, I have a small application running on the service. So for AWS fundamentals, we track every sale and some analytics parameters on this database that we have some idea where our sales are coming from. And we store all of that in this SQL server. So let's have a look. To actually understand that, we first of all go to the DSQL service. We need the cluster ID. So we can see order analytics prod is my cluster ID. I copy this one and go to CloudWatch. In CloudWatch, I go to all metrics, paste in my cluster ID, and go to the dimension Aurora DSQL cluster ID. And then I see some metrics only for my cluster. And what I'm interested in is total DPU, compute DPU, read DPU, write DPU. We don't have a multi-region cluster because then there would be another metric, but we're not interested in that. And we just changed the time here. I'm interested in the last 4 weeks. And what I want to have is a number. So what I did, I have my metrics here and I need to change the statistics because I'm not interested in the average. I'm interested in the sum of all of my DPUs. So I select sum. I select 1 day. In the end, that doesn't matter much anyway because I go to options and I select in value, I select time range. Value shows the value from the entire time range because I don't only want to see the latest value, I want to see the entire time range. So I'm doing that. And now we can see that we have 4 different metrics and the total DPU is the sum of the compute DPU, the read DPU and the write DPU. So if you have a look at that, at least it should be the sum. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure if this is the case. Doesn't look like it, to be honest, but it is probably just rounded a bit. So the total DPU is what we need to pay. And we need to pay per million DPUs. So since we just have 47.5, it's not that high. We can calculate that. So simply we pay $8 per 1 million. And we multiply that by 47.5. So for that, only for the DPU, we would pay something like $0.0003. So pretty cheap. But this application, of course, is super small. So this is how you would go ahead and calculate all of that. I think it's pretty interesting. Mark shared a script with us as well, so you can see it in here. It's just a bash script which is calculating this as well. So let's execute that. And it gets the metrics. Now some other values come out because now the script is actually calculating it from the beginning of the month until now. And then you can see what it would cost you. So this helps us already to understand how to calculate our current costs. But what is pretty hard for me to understand is I'm not sure how to estimating costs. I asked this already, so I hope I get some feedback on that, because I'm not sure what is one read unit actually, or one write unit. In DynamoDB, you know that one write unit is 1 kilobyte of an item in a standard write, and it gets different depending if you change consistency levels and stuff. But here I'm not sure how one read unit is calculated or defined, and also how one compute unit is defined. So I think that's pretty undefined at the moment. So I would love to have some clarity on that, because I just imagine if I suggest one client to migrate the project there, or at least to start a new project on there, and we know we get X many writes and so many reads, and we have complex queries and stuff like that. So I have no idea how to calculate at the moment what this will cost. And I think this is definitely a showstopper for bigger enterprises, or at least for like serious projects which have serious traffic. But in the end, for services like that, this is really a game changer to have a SQL database with that. To simply have in my database, for example, now my orders and my subscribers, and calculating some KPIs, some lifetime values, whatever you want to calculate with simple SQL queries is really, really nice. So I love that. I love that service, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure AWS will improve a bit on the pricing, or at least I will understand it better, and then we can properly use it. So I hope this helps you. If it does, I share all of that in a newsletter pretty soon. So if you want to follow the newsletter and if you want to receive it, go to awsfundamentals.com/newsletter and you will receive it as well. Thank you and see you soon.